I feel like I'm doing like a, what's it, like a lie detector? Like, what's your name? Tell me three truths.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I'll see which ones are a lie. Okay. Well, Ruben Martinez.
Hello, how's it
Hi.
going?
Welcome to Chats with Maritz.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you'll be my third guest. And yeah, thank you for agreeing to this experiment.
It's pretty on brand. I typically get like third place in weightlifting competitions. So,
No. No. Well, I can release this before my other friends, but you
okay.
could be second, but we
No,
can't
no,
put you
me
on
too,
third.
me
I'm
too.
first, because Gianna already got that one. All right. So I have a bunch of questions, but I mainly just want to like hear your story and
Mm-hmm.
hear like what you want people to know about you.
Okay.
I know you have a bachelor's in psychology
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
a master's. I did not know that in clinical
Yeah.
psychology. What made you choose that?
So it kind of all goes together into one thing. So I got into psychology because I had a lot of I played baseball growing up, and
Okay.
like baseball is a game of failure, at least as a batter. So if you hit 300, which is like a good batting average, it means you like failed 7 times out of 10, or you're
Oh,
failing a lot more often than not.
then not. Okay.
Um, so I had a lot of trouble with that growing up. I was always kind of like in my head. I was really hard on myself. A lot of the things that I still do, but I seem with weightlifting, it's a little bit different. Like with the baseball swing, I was like really perfectionistic about it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
less so with like the snatch and clean and jerk. But all that to say is I looked into psychology as I was growing up as a way to get better at baseball. So I went to college and I started off with an environmental engineering degree at
Oh.
TAMUK, or Texas A&M Kingsville. But then I was missing home and I moved back to Corpus, and I took a psychology 101 class, like the entry level one, and I fell in love with it. I switched my major. And so that's kind of how I got into my bachelor's for psychology. And then as far as my master's, I just kind of knew that I needed to have a master's degree to kind of do anything in psychology,
That
at
is
least
true.
license-wise or like a professional degree. So I applied to the master's degree there at TAMU CC, where took my bachelor's, and I completed that. I always wanted to get into sports psychology, but it's more of like a PhD level degree,
To be
much
able to
more
get a job
involved.
there.
And at that time, that wasn't really where I was focused. And even to this day, I don't think it's not something that I want to do informally or want to do formally, but I still enjoy like sports psychology generally.
Yeah. Just like as a research
Mm-hmm.
and knowledge and trying to help out
Yeah.
friends, but not for a career.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's always kind of been like for myself, like
Mm-hmm.
what are some little things that I could do to improve?
Yeah.
Because I always like another part of it is like I know that I'm like physically talented, but I'm not the most, and that's kind of like been the story as I see it for myself. Like, what is a way that I can beat people that should be better than me?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay. Inside,
Yeah.
in between
Yeah.
the ears. Okay. And you grew up in Corpus Christi?
Yeah. I was born and raised in Corpus. I moved away for a year for college, and then returned, and then as soon as I met Liz in graduate school, and she moved to the DFW. I finished my master's degree one semester, and then I have not returned to Corpus Christi.
Since then?
Yeah, yeah. So we've been in the DFW for a little bit, various places there, and then we moved to
And that's
Central
where
Texas.
you started doing weightlifting? And we'll get
Yeah,
into the details
yeah.
afterwards.
I
Because you were doing CrossFit for a while.
Yeah, I started off as a CrossFitter, and as I was doing my master's, I just knew that to be competitive enough in CrossFit at that time, when it was like super, super peak CrossFit time, it just required more time than I was willing to give and split between doing my master's. So I decided weightlifting was going to require a little bit less time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't now. It's about the same amount of training time, but
But at least it's just a limited amount of movements
yeah,
and
yeah.
modalities.
And I was always like better at the Olympic lifts with regard to like CrossFit as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
And I was good at them for my body weight, but in CrossFit there's no body weight classes, so
It doesn't really matter
yeah.
if you're
I was
lighter.
like, okay, yeah, let me compete against guys that are my size. And
Yeah. And then you moved to Austin.
Yeah, so we went from the DFW, then we moved to San Marcos for two years, 2 or 3 years, and then now we've been in Austin for the past three.
3 years. Yeah. So I think all of us moved here around the same time too.
We did.
That was a surprise because I thought like I don't know, all of you were just here for ages, and
No.
I was the newbie, and I was like, oh no, they were also just getting used to.
Yeah,
Austin.
I think I started Austin Barbell maybe only like a couple months before you did.
Before me. Yeah, I think same with Gianna. See, I'm learning so much doing this. I'm like, I thought I knew you guys. Everything's been a lie. And now you work in a school, and you worked in different schools, and you do psychological evaluations on students, mainly focusing on like mental disabilities.
I do the elementary, so it's mostly like neurodevelopmental.
Okay.
I think like as you get into middle school and high school, you might see a little bit more like emotional disabilities, depression, anxiety. And not that it doesn't happen in elementary age kiddos, but it's different. It's different. And I'm usually like the first one to identify, autism or dyslexia or ADHD in some of those kiddos, rather than like the middle school and high school they've kind of known for a while, and it's more of like making sure they have the right educational plan at that level.
And with kids in elementary school, like what do you see are like common challenges?
The one that popped in my head right now is losing. A lot of kids don't know how to lose. At least like
and that's just all kids, not like
some of them do. Definitely the neurodivergent.
Just enhances the losing being more.
Yeah, I think the reactions are different, and being able to kind of like handle it. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't like losing, but again, they'll like throw the whole game and call their grandma a word, something like that. So yeah, that's the first one that comes to my mind.
Okay. And do you have any like common misconceptions about your job and what you do and the challenges of it?
Yeah, frequently I get called a psychiatrist or a counselor.
Which I would think counselor. Yeah.
Counselor is pretty common. I work alongside school counselors, so school counselors can also do more of the treatment side for those like depression, anxiety kiddos that I was talking about, but also like social skills for our kiddos on the spectrum, or even like executive functioning skills for our ADHD students. So there's some treatment out there, and then there's also school counselors that just do, like scheduling at the high school level, some counseling with students here and there, but their role is a little bit different. So I'm very much only under special education. So I do work with general education students, but for the most because we're funded through special education, that's kind of like where my focus is at, just by the nature of the job, especially in Texas.
Okay. And are there any like early signs that a kid might be struggling emotionally and might need to be, taking into evaluation? Yeah.
So in the schools, there's this process that's called MTSS or RTI is what it used to be called. But it's identifying kiddos with, at-risk factors, whether that be, something that might raise alarms is, the kids having big emotional reactions, throwing their desks, running out of the classroom, or eloping. Those are things that, on an emotional behavioral disability, raise flags for me. As far as like autism, maybe they're not chatting too much, or they're really aloof, things of that nature, or even on the higher end of the spectrum, like having a lot of peer conflicts because they're a little like overly literal, or they want the game to be played in their very specific way. So it's kind of varies.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
But is that something that becomes visible once they start going to school? Let's say like when they're younger, all the adults just adjust, based on the needs, and you don't really think anything of it until like they start being with children that cannot really like everyone else adjust towards one kid's behavior.
That definitely does happen. I think more mild presentations of neurodevelopmental disabilities kind of like follow that path. But there's some kiddos like way early on autism or ADHD where I'm like, they need some help currently. Not to say that they will forever, but early on it can be really obvious. And some do fall under the radar too, but they tend to always kind of have slightly less problems.
And in this school, you are already there, available to offer these services.
Yes.
And for schools that don't have that, do you know like the process, or like how would their parents try and get that kind of help if it's not being provided by the school?
So yeah, just as a PSA, like you can always request a special education evaluation for free. Psychological evaluations privately tend to be like a couple $1,000s. We cannot legally deny that if they put it in writing.
So
we'll
like
have
you
to
go to
complete
your
an
school with your
evaluation.
principal or even the teacher?
Yeah, I would send it
and
to the
just-
principal and it'll get acted on. The thing to know is though, again, I work under special education. So those mild presentations, may I do the evaluation and think a kiddo is on the autism spectrum or ADHD? Yes, but do they need special education? So my evaluations are two-pronged. Like, do they meet disability criteria, and do they need, it's phrased this way, do they need specially designed instruction, or do they need special education? And that's not necessarily just academic. It could be a lot of times behavioral.
Yeah.
So like I was mentioning, executive functioning interventions, social skill interventions, counseling, things like that. So it's targeted to their needs, if they have that need.
And is there something that you've taken from what you've learned in weightlifting and being in sports that correlates to your job that you're able to? Because I know you have done the opposite of taking a lot of lessons from the job into, weightlifting and other parts of.
I'm gonna have to think on that one. I mean, I feel like if anything, like the main thing that I've learned from sport is like you could probably do something that you didn't think you could do. So like I know that doesn't quite apply to my job and my work with special education students, but just with children in general, it's like keep going, bro. Like you literally just haven't practiced enough. Like keep working and you'll accomplish something that it may not be what you wanted, but something that you didn't think you would do.
Yeah. And what's one lesson that working with these kids have taught you about living in the world?
Let me see. I think it's just like everybody's so individual. I think like everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and there's always like a way to like leverage that or also like accommodate for yourself.
Is there anything regarding your job that you wish people would know?
I think just being a little bit more visible. So like when you asked if I'm at the schools in the past, we're really evaluation heavy, particularly in Texas. We have like really high rates of special education students. Not to say that there's just a lot of legal pressure to evaluate rather than provide that MTSS or RTI intervention. Like I said, because if they put it in writing and then I find that a student even has like a slight difficulty or something, it's almost illegal for me to be like, to
just let it slide and just
continue. I forgot where I was going with this.
Okay. No, just if there's something you need people to know. Okay. And so just because of, your degree and your career, I know mental health is something very important to you. And so I want to talk about like that mental health aspect into sports and the mentality of it. And so my question is, how do confidence and self-esteem develop in kids versus adults? If you've seen, because you mentioned that about like the losing, and I do think like we're not that different. We still like we'll see a lot of tantrums at the gym. So like, is there any like differences in like how we, work through?
I think when you're young, you just haven't done enough to. There's something that comes with experience and having done it before, like a failure early on feels like the end of the world, or, like I didn't get selected for a college baseball team, it's like I'll never be anything ever. And like having been an adult, I've just lost several times. And it's just like, I didn't die, my wife and kid are still here. I still see my friends at the gym. So you kind of like take it in stride a little bit better. You should be able to. And I think like the reactions are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not all.
Like I said, I've seen a lot of tantrums, which I feel like a lot of gyms have done a good job at trying to, I don't know, bring those down.
Yeah.
And what role does failure play in building resilience? And like, do you have also some example in your lifting career or even, baseball, where a failure has been kind of like the biggest blessing looking back, or not the blessing, but like the lessons learned?
I mean, I always think back to, like, I tried really hard in baseball too when I was growing up. Like, I practiced every night, and I consistently have always been kind of a perfectionist, so I would always fight with my dad, like, every night, like, oh, my swing's not perfect, and he's, like, trying to talk me down. So I think that failure early on motivated me a lot when I found that I had a little bit of talent for CrossFit. And, I dove a lot into it, and then I did prove to myself when I made regionals 2015, like, that was a big deal to me. That was something that I had just said, like, top 20, like, I want to make it, and I worked out every day and did all the things that I needed to do, but I was never 100%, like, because again, I'm not that athlete. I'm not the 100% going to win guy. It's always going to be like a fight, which I enjoy.
Well, I feel like it's a 1% of the people that will always win.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the things that just being able to have these conversations and feedback from people, and they've just been saying how, like, it's great to hear stories about, like, other people, struggling, and how long it takes to, like, reach your goals. Like, how long did it take from when you put that goal of going to regionals to finally making it?
Yeah. As soon as I got out of high school, so 2012, and I watched a Rich Froning video, and I was like, I'm going to work out 5 times a day and eat chocolate milk and peanut butter jelly.
Oh, and the limited knowledge that we had on nutrition and recovery
it's
back then.
so much different now. So yeah, I kept doing that, and then it wasn't until I tried 2014, and that was kind of like the first failure, because I was like putting myself out there, like, I really want to make it this year. I've been training for a while, and I think I got like 350th or something in the South. And the South is like, for the men's, it was like kind of a weak region at the time too.
Okay.
Usually like the Northeast, I think, were like tended to be better at that time, in the LA
like
areas.
The West Coast,
But anyway, it took me a whole nother year of like really following the program, doing all the extra running work and stuff like that, that I felt like paid off, which was like sort of a weakness at that time. My aerobic base is probably like a lot weaker than other CrossFitters.
Yeah. Well, I feel like for a lot of weightlifters that we started with CrossFit, that probably ended up being the case, that we were like, oh, we're pretty like what's it called, like, fast and powerful, but well, at least for me,
I was always good at the shorter.
There, it was just my weakest point. And so did you only make it to regionals?
I only made it once, so then I failed again in 2016. At that time, by then, I was actually pretty burnt out. I came out of 2015 like really hot. I was really excited, and felt like I was just going to keep doing it again. And I think I had some knee problems then. It was just a culmination of things, and I started failing. And I sort of lost just the drive for CrossFit a little bit there. My mom also had cancer around that time, and it was just a lot of things going on. I started my master's too, so I felt like I just didn't have enough time. But it kind of worked out, I've met a lot of really cool people having switched to weightlifting after. A lot of my good friends now,
Yeah. And I think I met you in like 2016 in one of those CrossFit.
Was it the Laredo one?
I think so. It was, I forget the name of that competition. So it must have been like the year after you qualified or you competed at regionals. But yeah, I remember your mom cheering so much there.
Yeah, she was there.
And
I was wondering if you were there.
Yeah.
Or if you had met her, but had seen her alive.
Yeah, I had seen her there, and she was wearing the pink shirt. You were wearing the pink shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wanted to share your story, her story.
What do you want to know?
Well, because I know she had cancer, right? And passed away.
She did. She had breast cancer when I was in middle school the first time. And I think she was in remission for almost like 5 years or something like that. Because she got it again when I was in college, or I guess towards the end of my bachelor's degree. But it was breast cancer again. I think I remember, man, it must have been after regionals 2015 or something like that, around that time. And she kind of knew. I remember we went to the appointment and she just kind of already knew. She just didn't want to know that the cancer had came back. And so, yeah, she met the doctor. We went through that process. She ended up getting treated at MD Anderson, and she survived. At this point, I don't remember how long they gave her, but it was a lot longer than they had said that she would survive.
Yeah.
She went through various treatments. She had double negative breast cancer, which I think is one of the more untreatable ones, but the ones that she tried seemed to always work until they kind of stopped working. But yeah, she had a lot of like side effects. She lost her hair at one point. Like her hands turned black and were like really cracky. She never really vomited too much. That wasn't one that she had typically, but a lot of fatigue, things like that. It was kind of crazy because you mentioned that she was there at that competition. She would like do chemo, take a nap, and then come scream at us at like Friday night lights, just screaming her head off.
Just as much working out as you were.
Yeah. So I kind of get that from her whenever I watch a competition. There's just something about it that excites me, and I recently have noticed that, or remember that's how she was. Even when I played baseball, she was screaming her head off all the time. So
yeah, and is she also Mexican?
Oh,
or
yeah.
is it just Mexican? Okay, because I was gonna say like that is like the Mexican side of like whenever like my parents also like would go cheer for me, and now that we go cheer for my nephews, it's like the loudest possible. Yelling. Like, oh yeah, no, and it's all just fun. Just being that loud, and especially like for kids, you know, and but yeah, I remember her being there and cheering you on. And I also know that you use the Thundercat name, and that has something to do with her.
Yeah, she went by Mama Cat for a little bit there. I had done a fundraiser at the time. I was sponsored by Greater Than My PR, and I think it was post regionals, and I told him like, hey, you know, my mom's having cancer. Is there any way we could do a fundraiser? And he quickly like partnered up with me, and we made shirts for it. I think that might have been what she was wearing, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it was Greater Than My Cancer or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, Carlos something, I forget his name at this point, but cool guy. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice. And well, I wanted to go back to what you said about like her being the loudest and always cheering you on, because something about us going to like the same meets, and whenever I first joined, I think like immediately after ABB was having one of those meets, and you are always like one of the loudest people, and also like Texas State, AO2,
yeah,
like also you know everyone in Texas and everyone in weightlifting, and so I just wanted to note and for everyone to know that like that is something that like you're always like the loudest, and even when I'm lifting like I can hear you and it's just one of those I don't know, things that I admire, that you're always just there supporting everyone, and it's, I don't know, I just like that, and I wanted to acknowledge it.
Thank you.
Because also you recently went to nationals, and I know one of the things that you were mentioning was that you were one of the first ones to lift, so you're like, I want to set like a good momentum going for the team, and be able to you know, provide that energy. So which that leads me to nationals that just happened last weekend. You just came back from. How are you feeling going into this meet, because you recently became a dad, and you know, you've had to step back from training regularly. So there's been a lot of changes, a lot of, you know, movement in gyms and everything this past year. So how was this road to nationals different than previous years?
The road to nationals was bumpy. I was really nervous. I'm always nervous for nationals. It's just kind of one of those competitions where there feels like there's a lot of pressure.
Well, it's like one of the highest levels. I feel like everyone at the highest level wants to compete there, to compare to everyone else, because like yes, you can go to the other American Opens and there's more volume of people, but sometimes, you know, depending on when it falls, or like if people are traveling internationally, like it all just depends based on who's there. But nationals is like
everybody knows, like,
the
this
defining,
is the one.
yeah, like.
Yeah, so felt like a lot of pressure. In the lead up, I was very inconsistent with training, probably the most inconsistent I've been, which has just kind of been the story since Kitty got here, which is fine.
Yes.
I went really hard the year before Kitty got here with training because, you know, I wanted to put it all out there.
And you knew you were going to start training.
And, you know, my priority is more, even with, I'm doing this more for like a life thing, you know, and like you were saying, my motivations for competing are different. I still like to like beat people if I can, if I find like, you know, we're around each other.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm doing it, you know, to lift the boys up or, you know, like be like more of like a team mentality rather than like me. Although I would like some PRs or something like that. Like even this total at nationals was probably the lowest I've hit at a national meet for a very long time.
Yeah.
I was really proud of it because I tried really hard. You know, I had got sick in the lead up, and then I tried to train really hard. I lost a bunch of weight. For it. Yeah. And then I tried really hard on the day, and that 61 was again one of those where I was like, I don't think I can. Definitely in the lead up, I was like, dude, I can't even do 160s. There's no way. I felt more confident with the snatch that I could hit something in the 20s, maybe even a 30. But the clean and jerk, I was like, bro, I'm gonna be in the 50s. I'm gonna be like the first one. But it worked out. And I was able to get that 61, and I'm still kind of riding that high off that one.
Yeah, and just competing there, and because you failed the second snatch, and then you got back and got the third one.
I'm almost always like 50-50 on snatch, so I missed the first one behind. It was 124, and I had missed 118 in the back, it was just kind of like a technical thing, and I was like, we're good. And then I over yanked it when I got out there. So 24, I made it on the second one, and then 29, I missed on the last up front. And it felt like it was there, which is kind of like always the story for my snatches. They're like just barely missing it. But given all the training beforehand, I was really happy to be taking a stab at 129. And I think another thing that I've learned from failing, like bombing out, is like not to quite panic as much when you have a miss. I've just done so many competitions at this point. It's like, bro, just get out there and yank that next one and punch it.
One of those things that like everything is true and everything is false at the same time. And by that I mean like if you get every single lift in the warm-up area, you're like, yes, we're on a perfect day, and so I have no reason to fail now, and so it's like all of it reinforcing. And then if you suddenly like fail in the back in the warm-up area, you also like, all right, I have to get that out of the way. Now I won't fail when I'm on stage. And then and like all of them are true, and you have to believe all of those versions, because then in the moment, if you like allow any type of doubt in your head, then you like
it'll crush you.
Yeah. And so normally you're better at clean and jerk than snatches. Snatches is just like depending on the day. When do you know if it's going to be a good day? Because for me, it might be like around like 65 that I'm like, and it sucks because it's so close to, opening number. But once I hit 65, I'm like, all right, let's go. Or, oh no, we're struggling.
Yeah, I would say around that 120 mark for me, like depending on how easy that goes. Because usually all the ones up before that tend to feel like about the same, pretty easy as they've always felt. 120 is usually the one. But again, if I miss it, I'm like, all right, bro, you're going to have to go today. You're going to have to try really hard. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that, like, Gianna being one of the people that are always like, well, it's good that you're better at clean and jerk than snatches, because that way, like, if you already don't perform well. And I was like, I guess. I mean, I wish I was good at both of them.
No, facts. Yes.
But yeah, like, honestly, for me, like, emotionally, once I have, like, the snatches out of the way, I'm like, all right, now it's time to have some fun.
Agreed. Yeah. When I get to clean and jerks, I'm always a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
I just generally think a lot less with the clean and jerk. Like the snatch, I'm just...
The snatch, you're always like
trying to do it, and the clean and jerk, it just kind of happens.
I'm all just like, let's go, like noise, like rah! Which, do you have like a PR song or a song? Do you listen to music when you're...
I didn't this time around.
Oh, okay.
I've tried I'm a tinkerer, so I've always tried like a lot of different things with competition. There's been some where it's been really successful for me. I just got to kind of like find a song that like gets me going. Like I'm more of like a feel type of guy from the song, and it's usually like a rap song, somebody talking shit. So those usually get me there, and I'll kind of listen to that same song repeatedly and kind of get into a mode for competition. This time I didn't do that, and yeah, I've done both. I think some of the things that I consistently do at meets is I'll kind of pace around after I've done my warm-ups and kind of like really trying to get into aggressive mindset. And so sometimes music is involved in that, and sometimes it's not.
No.
But it's definitely helpful if I'm really trying to get in that mode to have some music.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I don't allow myself to listen to the playlist that I've created for competitions.
Yeah. So it hits you?
I've done that where, leading up to it, I'm like, trying to visualize it, and but then it loses its power from when it's time.
Yes.
And so I'm like, all right, I need to, what's it called? Where... Yeah,
desensitize yourself a little bit.
And then I'll just listen to it whenever it's time. Do you have any like rituals or process that you do?
Yeah, so I've been doing it for a while, and I know because I was just talking to one of the athletes at Upreach. He's a young athlete, Noah, and he made a couple of mistakes at his nationals that he went to. This also there. So there's ones where if I have a good snatch day, I've had a good meet early on where I had a good snatch day, and then I like bombed out because I was just like a little too elated or just not in it as much. So that's another one that I like make sure, go pee, get reset after snatch and clean and jerk, and like don't talk to anybody, don't be too happy, like the job's half done. So there's that one. Also where I didn't have enough to eat, so now I always get Cliff Bars, peanut butter and banana.
Like snatches and clean and jerk, or throughout?
I'll have at least 2 before, and then I'll have another 2 like post snatch and clean and jerk. And I do that because they're like literally small and not heavy on the stomach, but also really carb dense.
I've learned my lesson.
So those are some of those. I have like some meet day socks that I usually wear. I don't think I wore them this time around. I kind of forgot. So I'm not like ultra superstitious, but there's
it's one of those things that like, well, it's also for like performance, and it's not so much about like superstitions too, but it's just like everything that you repeat. It's like whenever people do like marathons, and it's like, oh, I have to like carb load, and I'm like, you've never carb loaded before. Like you've never eaten pasta, and now you're eating pasta for dinner like right before you're about to do like I think people tend to do that a lot, and also for weightlifting when it's like one of your first meets. Everyone's like, I need to cut weight, and I need to do all these
everyone does
like,
cut weight a little early or something like that.
Why are you like, don't think about weight classes like for a while. Did you do any of those kind of like early mistakes for your first couple of meets?
I always get stressed about weight, even if I'm way under. So I tend to like start under eating out of stress that week.
Just because. 'Cause normally, do you sit like 1 or 2 kilos over your weight class?
Sometimes it's usually only like 1, and I'll be like, I'm usually close. I'm not one to like hang out too far ahead.
Too far,
What other rituals do I have?
I mean, in competitions or in training?
In training, a sip of water after every lift.
Really? After? What does that do?
There was like some I'm blanking on his name, but he's in that like podcast sphere of like science bros. You know what I'm talking about? Not Huberman, but another one of those guys. He said it improved performance by like 20% or something like that. That you're like just underhydrated, particularly like intra workout. So I did it, and I was like, hey, I do have a lot more energy by the end of the session. So I try to sip.
I might still just do that subconsciously just because it's Texas summer. And my electrolytes just need to,
I sweat a lot too, so I have to. What other ones? I think you and I both have a similar setup for our lifts. So like step up to the bar. I tinkered with it a lot early on. I think I even did like arms like wide out because I kind of do like this now. which I don't even know why.
I know why I do it, and it's for me. It's just because I have sleeves, and always just before I go into the lift, I kind of like do that, and then that places overhead.
See, yours has function. Mine has no function.
Well, it does, except for competition because I'm wearing the singlet. But then the physical routine is already there, and so like the first couple of times, you know, my body was doing it, and I was like, why am I doing it? Like, I don't have a sleeve now. But if I didn't do it, I was like, no, something is off. I still, you know, physically, like, I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing it, even though it serves no purpose now. And it looks weird. But I think it's very similar. Yeah. Like, motion to yours.
I think I do, like, left foot. It's not very intentional. It just kind of happens left foot, right foot. I try to take, like, a really big breath every time. Just because there are nerves. Like, I'm nervous when I go out there. So it kind of like sets me a little bit right before I take the lift.
And what are you telling yourself if it's different, like from snatch? Because for me, it is very different from snatch to clean and jerk. Like, you know, either cue. I think for snatch might be cues, and then for clean and jerk will be triggering words of like, let's go.
Yeah. Give it all you got is usually like all you got is usually
for
the big
both.
one. Yeah, even snatch these days. Like if I can just put enough on it. When it's heavy, it kind of will land, or it's just a little bit more success rate, rather than me trying to like be precise with it. So yeah, they're both kind of like,
they're both the same.
Let's go.
Yeah, for snatch, sometimes I'll tell myself, like, I know people say like don't give like negative wordings.
Yeah.
But I, you know, in my snatch, I'm always like, well, not always, but certain times I'll be like, fail it back. You know, if I'm feeling like I'm not. Because that is my mistake. Like, I never fail it back. I'm always just like, it's a little bit too forward. So I was like, if you're going to fail it back. And then it helps because, like, you know, you overcompensate. But if you, you know, tend to do something a certain way and then you overcompensate. End up in the middle. Especially when it's, so that'll be one of mine for my snatch. And then.
Kind of like that one.
Yeah.
I might play with that.
Try it. But, well, yeah, because I never fail it back. I think I failed like 3 total snatches back in like my 10 years of lifting. But yeah. Okay. And do you have a favorite lifter?
John North. John North, yeah. I like early on, even though I was a CrossFitter, I liked the weightlifting part, and so like I was always on the Cal Strength videos as they were coming out. Then it was MD USA, and then John North by himself. So I was always like super up on those. I think I was like 20 at the time, so like this guy's fucking so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always like that energy. I think everybody kind of, not everybody, but some people are attracted to that wildness, I guess.
I know. That's something that I've been thinking about because watching all of you boys lifting together, and you're always like 1 kiloing each other. And that's what I was talking with Gianna about, that like for us women, we're like, well, first of all, it's like a privilege that we're not yet there at that spot to where like we want, you know, to like one up other people. But like I just love seeing like all of you you know, whenever you're lifting together. And then even if like someone fails, and normally at a normal day you'd be like, okay, I'll call it quits, and then you see like other people hit it and you're like, all right, let me go.
You kind of have to. Yeah. Something about seeing somebody else do it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it can be done, damn it.
Yeah. I do miss that about my CrossFit days, that it was always, you know, everyone just doing like the same thing all the time, and just being able to like work on the same barbell. I don't know, I feel like CrossFit got me deep into it because of the community aspect. And I feel like weightlifting also does the same thing, which is tougher because it's just way more niche, and it's tough to like find gyms that
athletes the whole
because like we both met at ABB, and I don't know, looking back I'm like, oh my god, those were the good old days. Like it was like 2 seconds ago. But I'm like, damn, it was so much fun, like just
I know,
watching everyone there, and then doing big Fridays, and now a couple of you moved up north, and now we try and make the drive whenever we can. But how was that adjustment to like different gyms and working out at a CrossFit gym again?
It's been a little bit of a transition. I think just for so long I've been an athlete, or at least that's been a large focus for me.
Yes.
And so to take a step back, it's just hard. And then also being in a CrossFit gym, there was like less weightlifters around, and you know, like weightlifters get weightlifters in the same way, like, you know, CrossFitters get CrossFitters. But it's been good.
It's an adjustment.
We've also kind of dropped in at Stonehenge here and there too. It's always nice to kind of be around other lifters. We've been running a conga line with me, Brandon, and Adam, and that's been really fun.
Yes, and then Lane visited last time when we were there, and that was a crazy time because it was like, I think 5 of you sharing that bar, and then Gianna and I were over here, and then we had other 2 lifters, and Gabe was also here.
Nice,
I just remember I was just there, and I was just there to support it, like for energies, to provide the good energies. But I was just like, you know, just watching when everyone was like chalking up, and I was like, okay, let me squeeze in.
Run in there.
I'll get out of the way.
Yeah, it's kind of like the perfect rest.
3 people, and then change
and then
plates.
like loading it is really a lot faster. It's kind of like it's different. It feels like kind of like a football type of
like
where
you
they're
go,
like
you
going,
go, you go.
running in a conga line.
No, that is nice. And then all of you are with Blue Wave.
We're all with Blue Wave. Lane's to be determined.
Yeah.
And then Colby comes and trains with us here every
he's
so
been
often,
coming
but
over
he's not Blue Wave.
Yeah. Okay. And how long have you been with Blue Wave?
We were talking about this. It was shortly before COVID, so around 2019. Is that 7 years now?
Yeah. I don't want to think about it.
It's been a long time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You were talking about being at different gyms. It's been like different lifetimes for me at this point, which is just kind of crazy to sit back and think about. But there was like my Contender CrossFit era, which had different eras in itself. So there was like, I first started off in parking lots.
Like working out?
Yeah. When I was
I'm
in
like,
college,
doing what? What are we talking about?
Working out, yeah. Like I said, I like the weightlifting part of it. Do you remember Outlaw CrossFit?
No.
It was
here in Austin?
No. It was a blog, kind of like Invictus, in the early CrossFit days. It was really big, Outlaw, and he was like really big into weightlifting, or his theory on CrossFit at the time was like the stronger you are, the easier the WODs will be. And he teamed up with MDUSA. But I was doing that programming by myself at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and mostly like the weightlifting part. And so I had like 2 pieces of track me and my dad had cut off from our high school because they were like flipping the track to some new stuff. And so I put them in the back of my truck, and I had a barbell in the back of my truck and a box with weights. And so I just pull up in any parking lot and start like lifting.
And just do
so there was that.
The good old CrossFit days.
Dude.
That is, fun.
Then we had a warehouse that was really hot and crappy.
As it tends to
while
be.
one was getting built. Actually, no, we were in somebody's backyard first, and then Contender CrossFit as it stands now. And that was for several years. Then I went to CrossFit 3040 before I went to Blue Wave, and that was cool. Willie there was also a weightlifter at the time, and so he had a couple platforms. There was a kid there named Micah that was, competing at the youth national level that I worked out with. So I got to work out there for a little bit, and I just found Blue Wave was right down the street from where I worked up there in Fort Worth. So I dropped in one day, and I ended up switching, and that's how I got to know Chris. And I wasn't with him as a coach for about a year.
Were you still doing your own thing?
I was programming for myself when I was at 3040, and even like the early end of my CrossFit to weightlifting days, I programmed for myself. But it wasn't great programming. Yeah. So I switched.
I'm like, I know about that not great self-programming.
I had reached out to Zach Tallender at some point and was like, hey, will you be my coach? And I was young at the time, and we linked up, and we had a really good time for a year. I got to like sleep over, meet Clarence Kennedy, hang out at a camp with Zach. We went to a nationals together, so I had a really good experience. Okay. And then around that time, that's when my mom passed away. So I stepped away from weightlifting for a period. And when I returned, I was at the Blue Wave gym, and Zach was not. He was in College Station, so I ended up joining Blue Wave, and I've been with Blue Wave since. I've kind of known Chris is a really good person first, and at this point really knows me more than I can say for a lot of people. So I trust him as a coach, and I feel like we're brothers. And at this point, you know, I just want to represent him well, and also the other people on his team. And
yeah. And how has that relationship with him changed? Because obviously, you know, right now, after so many years being with him, like you said, like he already knows you, and it's one of those things that like how you're moving, how you're being, like he already knows.
Yeah, he's watched me grow up, you know, watched me fail and watched me succeed at the same time. I was able to compete at an international competition because of him, you know. He didn't get to go with me, but
which you went to Worlds,
Switzerland.
Yeah,
I was
representing the U.S.
Yeah. I ended up getting bronze. I got third. So yeah, he's a very calm person.
Yeah.
I know one of his partners was a counselor, so I think he picked up on a lot of those skills. He can kind of just notice. But it's changed over the years, you know. Like I said, he met me when I was young, so he was more of like a leader, and these days he's more of, still I respect him and look up to him a lot, but he's more of like a brother, you know.
Yeah. It's just a friendship that has grown through so many years.
Something like that. So
yeah, nice. Well, how was that World's experience in Switzerland?
It was really good.
And okay, I'll take a step back. How did you end up qualifying, and was that something that you were chasing for a while?
Yeah, so our goal, Chris and I, and like Chris with his, I guess, international level athletes or people that are potentially at that level, that was always his goal for us, is to kind of go and do one or a couple, you know, if possible. So I had been in the RTP, the random testing pool, for a while to be eligible for those. And an opportunity came up. This is kind of like what my coach would always talk about, probably to keep us all like bought in baseball early on. I went to a school with a good baseball program, so there was like a reserve of like good athletes, or at least baseball athletes. So he would always be like, you know, your opportunity is going to come. You got to be ready. You got to be in, you know, some stuff like that.
Gotta be prepared.
So that's where it kind of happened, you know, in real life to me. They hit me up. They're like, can you go to Switzerland in 4 weeks or something like that?
Oh, wow.
It was very, very sudden.
And with weightlifting, it's not like they pay for
anything. They pay for nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like,
but like at a short notice, you know, like normally, like, yeah, if you're trying to go to Worlds, that's something, you know, with like, you know, within
it's
a year.
Self-funded. They'll let you know way early on. So it was self-funded. I didn't even have a passport.
Oh. So you had to do one of those, like, here's my flight, please give it to me.
I had to go drive to Houston, take a day off work, and do the like single day thing. Nerve-wracking, but it was my opportunity to be on Team USA, you know, and so I was willing to do anything at that time. So there was that obstacle, and then I got strep on the way there. I had strep I was like sweating profusely and like coughing.
And you still managed to get third place with, you know,
I don't know how, it just kind of happened.
Honestly, yeah, like we mentioned on the previous episode, like the one time that I was also like deadly sick the morning of, nothing, I could not eat anything, and I was like, I'll see you in the warm-ups if I want to compete or not, because like I feel like, and then it was like the best performance ever, because like, yeah, you're like, you know what, the body,
I'm just gonna do
you know, like I have no choice, I'm already here, I already paid, you already traveled, and that's crazy.
I didn't know I had strep going.
Oh, you were just feeling horribly.
I felt horribly, and then I got back and I was like, babe, I'm not doing well, and I went and got tested that day, and they were like, yeah, bro, you got strep.
Oh my god.
But it ended up working out. I had retained a lot of weight, so I had to cut a little bit of weight that time, too.
Oh, so
that was a little scary.
Weight cut.
There was jet lag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I flew all the way to Switzerland, and the competition is not in like a big place in Switzerland. It's like a really small place. The name is blanking me at this moment, but it's a really small like country town, and they have like a hotel that's like an artsy hotel, and they hosted us there, our own room and board, and they fed us all our meals. So that's why I didn't want to say they didn't pay for anything. I don't know if USAW paid for that, but the meals at least were accommodated for, and the travel or the car there and stuff, and the lodging. which was that was a really cool experience. So there was like cows with cowbells in the back. It was just a pasture of the Switzerland sun and green grass.
The culture.
And then the other thing about weightlifting there, at least in that competition, is like again, it was a small town, but like everybody was there from the town.
Yeah,
and
so it was the event.
It was
for
the event.
Everyone to be.
They were drinking beer all day. It was
that.
like in a cafeteria, but they had a stage platform, all nice, lakeoed out. And then when it was like the A session, they had showgirls come out with like placards to walk us out. It was like a very performative, which was really cool. And then like as soon as the competition ran until like I was competing like 11 at night there, not like our time, and then immediately it was a rave right after. And they just partied. Like,
yeah, she's like, okay, switch
awesome.
to the lights,
yeah,
put the disco balls, let's go.
It was a fun event.
Oh my god, that is so much fun. And I'm glad that you got to, like, being able to represent the U.S., you know, internationally. Yeah. That sounds like a very big dream.
It was really cool.
In weightlifting, do you have any dreams that you kind of wish you had? Not saying that you don't have time yet, but, you know, priorities.
Yeah.
Or you're content?
No, I always want to hit more. Like, there's just like a little bit more. I feel like I'm definitely capable of like 320 total, but maybe even as close to like 330. I feel less confident about that these days, but I feel like there were points in time of my life that I should have been able to do that. Yes.
And that's something that currently is a next goal that you would want to?
I think the Nationals top 12 is kind of...
Where do you sit, do you know, right now? Because you just
I'm going to be a cusp athlete around there. Yeah. I haven't looked up the rankings, but I would imagine it's probably like 310 minimum, probably a little bit upward of that. And so, yeah, that's going to require some real work from me, and it'll be like a real challenge.
Because this change happened literally like 3 days before you flew to Nationals. And, you know, it impacts everyone differently. You know, for me, this past year, I was like 1 kilo away. And again, like looking back, I'm like, I should have had it, you know, 2 years ago, whenever I was trying. But this past year, you were at that meet. That was, anyway. But I know I have those numbers like right now. And so I was like, okay, you know, even if they increase like the totals for next year. But yeah, so to me, it impacts in a way that, like, you know, in my weight class, there's like 40 people going to Nationals currently. And so now that they've changed the rules, and now it's like 12, because all my friends or family members that don't know about weightlifting, they're like, well, how hard is it to be, you know, a top 12? And I'm like, getting like 1 kilo PR takes, you know, so long to get there. And so when you see like from 40th that I was barely gonna squeeze in to like 12th, I was like, yeah, okay, like, yes, I believe in myself. But there's, you know, realities of things. So that's how like it impacts like people like me, or people that, like, you know, they're in the like D session, that their next goal, which was reachable, would be to jump into like a C session or something like that. And so now like all of those in that space are kind of just saddened. And I feel like, yes, you can be like, well, I am going to try to be top 12, and it's reachable for some people. And so I think for you, that you are like at that cusp, and for people that are kind of like top 6, you know, that they're still there, I feel like that also puts pressure on them to like, everyone's coming. And I do think it will raise kind of like the drive for those like top 1 percenters, versus there was a drive for top 10 percenters, and now it's like, well, so is that how you feel? Like, you feel a little bit more motivated? Or
it definitely has. Because again, it's kind of within that reach range, you know. It's like it's doable, just not easily.
Oh yeah, no, I wish I know I talked to a couple of people that were like, actually, like, I was kind of like looking at retiring, but now that I'm there, I'm like, oh, I want to keep on trying. Like, it's, and I was like, damn, like, yeah, I wish I was at that spot, but, you know, well, I think I mean, it's very soon from like when that was announced to now. I definitely like was like, oh, just demoralized. And I can feel it in the gym too, that I'm like, all right, what's the point? Well, especially because I work out like by myself, and Honestly, like, I have not thought about it because a lot of people are like, how are you, like, doing
Still
that
doing that.
without, yeah, because you're just, like, there in the corner. And it just was so close. And, like, that was a dream that I was like, yeah, at this point, like, I do want to, like, put in all of my time and effort.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I was like, I'm realistic with myself. Like, that is really far away. And, like, with age and just I have a full-time job and everything. So I don't know. I'm also really grateful that I'm doing this as well. Just because it was literally like around the same time I had just like recorded a couple of episodes, which my first ones I was so I was like I was so excited. I was like, guys, I'm gonna tell my story next year when I qualify to nationals. And yeah, I literally recorded it. Not even 24 hours later, they posted that like the rules are changing, and I was like, you know what, I'm sticking with it. It's still my story in that point in time, like, you know. Yeah. And it's part of like one of the things that I've said about the past couple of years that you helped me get to that point of like, because you were asking me like, what are your values, like why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons was just authenticity.
Yep.
And I was like, yes, I have failed so much, but I still want to keep on doing it, and I still want to like be visible trying. Yeah. Because I was like, what's the point of just like also doing all of this and being hidden, and then like just, you know, there's different personalities, right? And I think for me and as well for you, community is one of the major pillars of like why I do anything.
Agreed.
And so yeah, I feel like it kind of like came at a perfect time that I started doing this podcast, because I'm like, okay, suddenly I don't know, I don't think I'm gonna stop weightlifting. It's still like my heart and soul, but yeah, I was like, maybe I'll drop into like CrossFit classes here, like build that community,
have some fun,
and just, you know, focus on this. Hopefully it's a good it's a good product, and I am grateful to you for being
thank you
here.
for having me.
Which I do want to talk about that, because you were my coach for like 2 seconds.
Oh gosh.
And I think, because I've been thinking about it recently, I was talking to a friend because I just wanted to like help them out on another sport. And you asked me 2 questions whenever I was going to one of my meets, because that was one of the chances, the Blue Wave one, that it was like, okay, it's like either you do it or you don't. And I just want to like read it back to you, and I want to see if like from your side, because I know we talked about like your mentality going into this one, but I want to see like your values, and also being like a new parent, like if that has changed from previous ones. But so this is your question that I do want to share with everyone, because like I do think it has helped me. And this year that I was again going to qualify, I like searched and I was like keywords, and I was like, what did we say? And I remember you had said like, oh, authenticity, so I was like, okay, and then I found it. And I think I did it again for me, and these questions were the reason that I started sharing my journey this year too. Because I had forgotten my answer, and I had forgotten why I wanted to do it before. And so yeah, I decided to like post, and I had a couple of like people that were like just seeing it
resonated with
just
them.
And it's like, like I'm not a weightlifter, but just the fact that you're trying to do something, and I don't know, anyway. I've said the same thing so many times, but yeah, your question was, when you look back on this meet a year from now, regardless of the numbers, what kind of lifter do you want to say you were out there? And so is this a question that you think about often as well, or like setting up your values?
I think as the numbers have gone away, I think more like, who do I want to be? And it's always like something like trying hard, or again getting to that idea of doing something that you didn't think you could do, like there's finding that potential in yourself. Because like base level, I don't believe in it, you know what I mean? I always gotta like prove it to myself. Which I think it'd probably be beneficial if it was the opposite as an athlete, you know, just like I always got it.
No. Like I said, I feel like we have to hold on to many truths at the same time. And all of them are truth, even though they're like in
at the same
conjunction.
But yeah, it's something along those lines. Just that's why I yell at people, because I want to see them try, you know, like,
Yeah.
because I know
Yeah.
personally, like, I've tried really hard and done some things that I didn't think I could do.
Uh-huh. No. And honestly, just, yeah, having people believe in you just will make you
Mm-hmm.
do lots of great things. Yeah, and I think I had for you, like, being encouraging to have others realize that they're capable of more than they thought.
Mm.
And that has been, like, my experience of you in meets and just everywhere. And then, yeah, the other one is, like, what part of you do you want to bring onto the platform, even if your nerves show up too? And I feel like that is one of the things that helped me so much for these meets, that obviously you have the numbers, obviously you have, like, the pressure of, like, I want to make it to nationals. But just, yeah, going deeper, it's like, then, like, why what is my reason? Like, is it just because, like, you know, and it's valid if you just want to be like, I just want the recognition, you know, or something. But I think those were great, and I am grateful for those 2 seconds that you were my coach. And I also am grateful that, like, you've always counted for me in meets.
Of course.
So thank you for that. Well, no, I was gonna say, like, that Blue Wave meet that we got, the other athlete, like, jumped me.
Dude. Well, it's like I got burnt at that Houston meet, and I was like, this is a local meet. What are we doing? We're not even in the same weight class.
They did that to you?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Same on mine. It's like, why are we burning each
There's
other's
no money
clock?
here.
Like, you won literally a blender bottle. And
anyway,
I lost my chance at nationals. Oh, and then the guy tried to recruit me afterwards.
yeah, that was the icing on the cake.
And I was like, do you know that you just cost me nationals? Anyway, I do have, I know, like, you've shared one of the clips, and I wanted to see if, like, you have different ones. I know you always share, like, the who do you think you are? I am. I love that video. Yeah. I know Brandon's is like, today. He always reposts that one.
I don't think I have any.
No, it's just that one. Okay, it's still a great one.
That is a good
one. Okay, block versus powder. Chalk.
Block.
Block always.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm an artiste.
Oh yeah. And where do you put liquid chalk? I didn't even think of that.
Where do you put it?
Yeah, like in between block and
bottom.
Right.
Bottom. It's terrible.
Yeah. No, that was for me. That was my shocker with Gianna. I was like, I didn't even know we could care about them.
I did it a little bit when I worked out in a college.
Like if you have to, then I'll wear it. But no. Okay. And then, I wanted to do this new segment called Tell Me Your Favorite Taylor Swift Song, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Can I name some for me? Because I do like some, but I don't know their names.
Are you calling a friend?
I was really on one when I went to Switzerland. Karma.
Okay. You know what? Karma is a great song.
Karma's a cat.
But I still think I have a better one for you. And it's because you're a newly dad. And it's Never Grow Up.
Okay.
So you can listen to it and then
Never Grow Up, okay.
Yeah. I think that would be...
I trust your Taylor Swift knowledge.
Yeah, I was like, I need to, let me make a fun segment out of it. But Karma is great. I think I started because I was like, everyone's going to be like, Shake It Off. The only song that they know. And I was like, no, I refuse to. Yeah, and just like my, propaganda to make everyone a Swiftie.
I'm cool with it.
Okay, so I want to talk about books. Okay. One is, have you read the book I lent you?
I haven't. I'm sorry. I'm not a great reader.
Did you start it at all? I think it's literally been like a year.
It has. I'm sorry.
It's okay. See, that's fine. Okay. So you're not much of a reader, but do you have a favorite book?
You're gonna hate me.
Why?
It's a manga.
That's fine.
Yeah. Actually, it's number 10 of Naruto, which is this is another part of the story of me, but it's Rock Lee, and like his whole character is about working hard and being perseverance is literally like his gift in the anime. And he's not as talented as his partner on his team, but he still tries his hardest and like proves that he's a worthy ninja.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take that. See? And that's what I'm asking this question. I'm like, I want to learn about like different.
I used to have a bunch of them. I had like 1 through 40, and my mom sold them at some point, but I was like, not 10, because I used to like carry that around,
series.
Read it before baseball games when I was in middle school at the time.
Yeah.
You know, that was like my music.
Are those one of the things like Pokemon cards that like have gone up in value recently? Or
I don't know if they have. I think they're still kind of like you could buy
like,
them.
Yeah, at like regular price. Okay, see, I like that. Okay. And I have a question never been seen before in the internet, which is, what sport would you do if you were more athletic?
Football, no, I don't like
like
football.
American football.
I take that back. Baseball. I do baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes want to go back to baseball, given that like?
No, you know, I don't know. That one's a weird one because I don't know if I ever actually loved I loved it at the time, but now that I'm removed from playing, or almost as soon as I was removed from playing with it, I wasn't like.
Yeah, like you
God,
want
I
to
guess
go
I didn't
back.
love baseball that much. I didn't keep up with it.
Yeah.
But just out of familiarity, I'd probably do that one.
Yeah. And is there something that you miss from CrossFit?
Racing. I like the idea of racing. And like same WOD, and I can kind of see where you're at. You can kind of see where I'm at. And
like
I'm gonna catch you on the
too.
squat cleans,
Yeah.
but you're gonna dust me on the row or burpees, or this little like cat and mouse of CrossFit races. I miss that.
Yeah. How about the gymnastics? Were you good?
Just handstand push-ups and deadlifts were always pretty tough. I would imagine handstand push-ups still are. I'm better at deadlifts though.
Yeah. I suck at deadlifts, even though everyone says that I should be good because I'm short. But I'm like,
it's just something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was good at handstand push-ups. I was great.
Yeah,
that didn't help me. I was
burpees,
just like, 2 inches, like up and down.
Burpees too were always tough, and I practiced them a lot, and it did not help.
Yeah, I was good at burpees. I feel like that my short distance did help, and I like it just because I feel like other people hated it, so I was like, all right, I don't care.
You gotta crush people on the stuff that
like. I wasn't. Yeah. And where do you feel the most like yourself?
It's definitely like around people, like around friends. And I can just be silly. I think I come off serious a lot of times, but I'm really like a silly guy.
Yeah.
I like to be like loud or just obnoxious a little bit, or say random stuff to try and make people laugh. So I think around people that make me feel comfortable enough to do that. It's usually like gym friends or family or stuff like that these days.
Yeah. And if you from like a year ago could see you now as a dad, and like the ways that you've learned and grown, and
I definitely have matured a lot. I still think there's a lot more maturing to go. But when you have a child, you kind of have no choice. Like, you're like, my parents are not coming here to pick up the slack for me, or and then I can let Liz drown, or I gotta like do it. So I think assuming more responsibility, and I feel like my whole life has changed basically since Kitty got here. So I feel less confident in everything else except the family part, or at least being a dad. I feel like I've dedicated a lot of my energy to that, and I feel happy with it currently. She's gonna change, and so I'll have to change too. But yeah, because like when Kitty arrived, we moved the day before, so the place that I slept at night, the places I eat at, the people I work with, the people I work out with, like all was basically changed as soon as she got here. My daily routines. So it's kind of really shook me for a little bit, but being a dad
especially like the sleeping, I feel like your brain just isn't at full capacity, and
and then like early on it's jarring because she's she's not quite as helpless now.
Yeah.
But for the first several months, she's very helpless, and that's just always like on your mind.
Yeah. And what's your favorite thing about being a dad?
Coming home and like having somebody excited to see you and you're excited to see them, on top of Liz being there, but just a different human being that you don't know, you know, and is like,
and you are shaping,
getting to know you and know the world and everything. It's just kind of unlike anything else that I've ever experienced, and I love it.
Yeah. I'm happy for you. And what's your favorite thing about being a husband?
Having that person that can kind of see me for me, because the voice in my head is often negative and incorrect. So having somebody that like knows me and kind of can ground me a lot of times, and like genuinely cares for who I am, even when I don't really know who that is.
Yeah.
You know.
And what's your perfect like Sunday with the family?
Chilling. Sleep it in.
Just no more details, just chilling.
Yeah.
Just
at home. I might not even see anybody that day.
Yeah. Which is like
not that I dislike people, but
no.
I need like one day just to rest.
Yeah. No, I love that. And what's your favorite thing about like Kitty at this stage? And like, does she already have some personality traits that? Because I that's one thing that I've realized about children. Like,
yeah, they come in with it.
They are already their own person. It's just your job to like,
cultivate it.
Yeah, and allow them the space to become that person more.
I was thinking about this week, and there's always the nature-nurture argument. It's like, it's a little bit of both, but I think it's probably a little bit more nature than nurture. Like they come in, everybody kind of comes in with not set, but like I think like a range, you know, like. You're not going to be an agreeable person and then suddenly flip to being a disagreeable person. You're probably always going to be around here, and you can learn to be a little bit of one way or the other. But anyway, finding her, she's very curious too. So she's always like watching us.
Yeah, and learning every single second. They're learning.
So I think she'll probably be a curious person. I don't know if she'll be. That's all I can gather at this point. Which reminds me of me, and it's kind of cool in that way too.
Yeah.
And having lived for so long, it's like I can kind of guide her a little bit more. Or, you know, I have lived experience if she'll listen. You know, I always keep saying all this like opportunistically, but she may be like, "Dad, you're dad. I'm not listening to you." I
think at a certain point that's just bound to happen.
Yeah,
you know, you just have to like do enough teaching before then that like, they won't kick you out as much afterwards. Okay. Is there anything about your life story, about your mentality, that we didn't get to touch up on?
I think we got everything. I mean, we went from baseball through all the different gyms and stages and stuff. No, I think that was it. Yeah.
And your next goals, like in the gym for the future, is that like, what did you say? The 320?
Yeah,
total?
I think we're like 310 for sure, but I imagine it'll probably be 320. And I've also been saying top 10 and not top 12 because Brandon's is top 10, and so if he's top 10, I got to be top 10 too. So
yeah, let's go.
That's the idea for me, or the motivating thing for me right now. We'll see where the actual numbers shake out. I do like that it is a total that you have to have hit somewhere.
Yeah.
And not something that you declare. I really hate that about weightlifting because, you know, like in CrossFit, you had your open workouts and then you had your ranking, and like that was it. You don't get to declare like, oh, I could hit this and put me in the A session or something like that. It's like what
you've proven.
You do.
Like,
yeah. So
you have.
We will see if it's still 310 and not a little bit less, but I imagine so.
Is your next meet AO2 or finals?
Shooting for AO2. I think we're going to do AO2. We have another event that we have to be at in Fort Worth, a bridal shower for Liz, so we're going to be there. It
might as well be.
It'll be Liz, Kitty's birthday, September 3rd.
Yay.
So it'll be motivating.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to qualify to AO2.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just bummed out.
Just put a total in there. Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna do a random meet, just hit some numbers, and then I think I want to go there. I love AO2. It's just, I feel like it's just Texas
So
State
Texas,
2.0.
Yeah.
It's fun. So yeah, my last question is, how do you want to be remembered?
I think just as somebody that was like you were saying, like genuine and authentic, and like yeah, like somebody that was them around you.
Yeah. And brings out the best in
Mm-hmm.
other people and lets them know that they can.
It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I like that. And I appreciate you coming over here. I
Thank
hope
you.
this wasn't the worst experience in the world.
not even close.
And yeah, I hope everyone just cheers for you as loud as you cheer for everyone else.
Thank you.
And yeah, well, I'll keep on watching you
Likewise.
grow. Alrighty. Well, bye. Let me